Hello my friends, and a very, very warm welcome back to the northwest of England. It's Sam here with another little video. Hope you're all doing okay and that life is treating you very well. How are we all? Let me know in the comments what you're up to and how you are. Let's dive straight in today, shall we? I thought we'd have a look at this really cute shape that I was just faffing around with the other day. I'm a really big fan of Art Nouveau things, design, architecture, that kind of thing. And I was actually aiming for something else when this happened. I collect Art Nouveau pieces. This is one of them, which my mum bought me a little while ago, which I really, really love. And I love anything vintage. This is I think from the 30s, this little long sort of flapper type necklace. I do love to collect vintage jewellery, and I love Art Nouveau. So I was trying for something else, but I came up with this little motif here, which I was using it that way, but when I turned it the other way, do you not think it looks like somebody going yay? Looks like, doesn't it? Looks like somebody celebrating something, doesn't it? So I really like that. As it happens, we're going to do it that way around, but anyway, so we're going to have a look at this lovely shape. So as you can see here, I've made a necklace out of 6 of the little motifs, and we're going to make the earrings today. Yeah, so super light, super nice in the ear. You can attach a bead here if you wanted to. I've chosen not to, but that's up to you. So let's have a look at the ingredients that we need. I'll just clear all this detritus away. There we are. So let's have a look at what we need. Again, I'm trying to use equipment and materials that we have in our stash, so you don't need to, go overboard with purchasing new things. So I'm using 18 gauge 1mm. I'm using soft bare copper wire here, and you're also going to need some 3mm by 1mm jump rings. I make my own. If you're interested in learning how to make them, I will leave a link in the description for my video of how I make mine really cheaply. If you're wanting to make a necklace and you're wanting to sort of replicate this, I do have a video on how I made these little simple links. If you want to make the little links, that's fine. Again, I will link that in the description box. But we're just going to make this, so we're not, so it's not a hugely long video. So you're going to need some cutters. You're going to need some round nose. Now I've marked mine with a Sharpie pen. You're going to need some chain nose pliers, and that is about it, apart from a bench block and a simple chasing hammer, because we're just going to put a little bit of flattening and a little bit of texture on this pretty shape here. Can you see that? Super. All right, so I'll come back and we'll make one of these. Righty ho, my friends, to make these gorgeous shapes, really simple. You just need to follow, the simple design. Really, really sweet. I like them an awful lot. Maybe when we've made them, we'll stick a bead on the end. Maybe not. We'll see. So let's take our ruler, or rule, as it give it its proper title. Ooh. So I'm just going to take some 1mm, that's 18 gauge, soft bare copper wire, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a straighten. Now I think you'll get away with 14 centimeters, which is 5.5 inches for you beautiful people that use inches. So I'm just going to cut 2 lengths off, and then I don't have to faff about anymore. Just cut a couple of lengths, give or take. And we'll make 2, shall we? Make another pair of earrings. Maybe then I can gift them to someone, like my friends or my best friend, or somebody who would appreciate them. Right, so let's have a go at this. Now, what I've done, when I was messing about, I took my pliers, my round nose, and I had a faff about with the... Bye, Glory. I had a faff about with the shapes and the sizes and that kind of thing. So, you can do the same thing if you like. So find the centre of your wire, which you can do by eye, or if you're rubbish at that like me, use your ruler. So that's 7 centimetres. Okay, so as you can see, I've marked my pliers to keep everything nice and consistent. So just move move your wire down, and you want to bend a shape, cross it over, making a teardrop type of shape here, like a stubby teardrop. Now my best advice is, if you're doing this for earrings, is to do them both at the same time, and then you know that everything is sort of equal, or as equal as you can get it. So make 2 like this. Oh, here comes the dog again. He's getting old, his glory. He's just had his 16th birthday, so I think he's suffering a little bit from the old doggy dementia. Come on, buddy. Come and sit. Are you coming to sit? Good boy. So make 2 together, okay? I would anyway. Or if you're going to be making a necklace like this, make 6 or 7, or, you know, whatever you want. So they're all the same shape. Then you want to come in with your chain nose pliers. And what we want to do is pop our pliers. I'm using the Zoron here, and they're quite a thin nibbed one. What number are they? That's the grip 475 if you wanted to know, and you can see how mucky they are. I use these an awful lot. Pop the nib just at the end like that, and then bend from underneath, bend it upwards like this, and then you want to do the same on the other side. So just inside the hoop, and then bend upwards. So essentially you've got what looks like a person going yay. Doesn't it really? I think so anyway. I like to see the joy in most things if I can. All right, so do that, and then do that again with the other. I mean, you know, you don't have to do it exactly like me if you don't want to. These are just ideas for you, don't forget. Pop that upwards like that, and then the same on the other side, just inside the loop, and then upwards. I've found that if I've done them both at the same time, oh, wood pigeon. Birds are really resplendent round here at the moment. So we've got 2 that look like that, yeah? Next thing to do is to bring back your round nose. So we're going to be making these little sort of fan loop type shape things. I'm really technical in my explanations, I know I am. Fan loop type thing. Oh dear. Right, so pop the centre back onto your plier, and because you've marked it like that, pop it back on, very gently squeeze, and then pull that round so it hits about there, and then do the same on the other side. Yeah, just very gently pull that round so that it crosses over like this. Can you see that? And then do the same with the other one. Oops. So pop it in, bend it round. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Doesn't matter. And then round. Might flip around on you a little bit, but as long as you've got the, you know, the pretty much the basic shape, you're all good to go. So can you see we've got those 2 there? Yeah. So the next thing we want to do is to create this little bend here, this little S bend. All right. So again, come in with your pliers. Now I've marked my little pliers here because I want to put these on the dots. I'll do that side first, just inside. Yeah, and then bend upwards like that, and then the same on the other side. So where you mark, well, you know, where you've marked your pliers, yeah, so you've got that kind of shape. Can you see that? So we'll do that again, just inside where it crosses over like that. Yeah, around your plier and up, and then do the same on the other side, just inside and upwards, so that we have this kind of shape. Yeah, and don't forget, these are organic. So, I mean, you know, if things aren't exact, you know what, it does not matter. So we've got these shapes here. Can you see what we've got going on now? Yeah. So we want to be pulling this bit back round. So again, I'm using the top spots. Bend it downwards. And then again, on the other side, bend it downwards and acrossways. Yeah, so that you've got this little bit of room for maneuver. If you need to pull that back a little bit, you can do. If you need to pull it out a little bit, you can do. And this is the benefit of doing them all at the same time. So pop it in and bend it downwards. Pop it in on the spots, yeah. Oops, and bend it downwards like that. You see that? Now this is where I think it looks like someone celebrating something, which I think is really cute. So you pop them on top of each other. You know, you need to move things in a little bit. That's absolutely fine. And don't forget that these are organic shapes. So can you see? Two the same. So if you wanted to make a bracelet or a necklace or whatever, you know, just do them all in a production line, and then you've got everything is the same shape. So come back in with your ruler. And there's quite a lot of the things that we do are quite specific in measurements, aren't they? And you should have about 1 centimetre left if I've done my measurements right, and I have. Okay, so just flush cut that. Should have flush cut that at the start really, but never mind. So if you can see the crossover here, you want to measure. Can you see that? You want to make it so that that is about 1 centimetre from where it crosses. So if you can measure those, yeah, brilliant. That's really good. I'll just gently flush cut that end. Again, yeah, about 1 centimetre and about 1 centimetre. Brilliant. I'm good at this. Not really, but you know what I mean. And then what I'm going to do, because I know that the first step of my plier, which is a 2mm mandrel on my 6-step plier, I know that that takes 1 centimetre because I've done quite a few of them. And what you want to do is this one coming downwards, you want to bend that away from you. Yeah, because we want, where's my other one? We want that kind of shape there. Almost like feet. You know what? I'm almost convinced that looks like a person celebrating. Okay, so this one here, take your plier right at the very end, bend it round to make a loop. Thus, turn it over. Do the same on the other side. You can use your round nose if you want, but I know the measurements of these really, really well. There we are. So there's our shape. So should we do the same? This one coming downwards, plier, right at the end, turn a loop, nice and neatly, turn it over and do the same thing. Cute, cute, cute. I really like these. And if you're into sort of vintage looking jewellery, I think these make a really pretty motif. Yeah, even if you wanted to, you know, make them into people celebrating, you can do. Right, let's bring our hammer in. Now then, the hammering is a fun part, but also you need to be quite measured with what you're doing because you don't want to spread the wire out too much. As we know, when we hammer, you work hard on something, metal also gives and it sort of moves around a little bit. So try to be quite measured with what you're doing at this stage because, you know, you don't want it all to spread about a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do when I'm hammering these hoops, these loops here, and this section here, is I'm going to draw the hammer outwards slightly as I'm hammering. Okay, so that will give it a flattened sort of effect. Can you see here I haven't hammered this part, but I've drawn the hammer across as I've hammered here. I'm not an expert at these things. This is just something I've discovered as I've been going along. Okay, so this is the discordant part. Choose to mute this bit if you want to. Okay, so as you can see, my dog doesn't like that sound. Must be really discombobulating for him. So as you can see, as I've drawn the hammer across, it's given it some pretty texture, and it's also thickened, but not too much. Okay, these points, these loops here. I'm going to do the same on these two sides, leaving this section here. Not only does it give it some texture, but it also work hardens it and makes it a bit more secure. So don't bash your fingers, for heaven's sake, my friends. Do the same thing. Can you see that? How that has given it some flatness. Really pretty. Let's have a look at that. There we go. Can you see that? Now, as you can see, the metal has spread just ever so slightly. I'll do this one off camera, okay, so that we're not having too much noise. And I want to bring these two little center parts closer together a little bit. So I'm just going to bring that in just slightly, and then just slightly, just so that these little feet at the bottom are happy. Just bring that up slightly. All right, so there's our first motif. Isn't that cute? So I'll come back to you in a second when I've done the other one. Right, how did you get on, my friends? Aren't they cute? Beautiful little motifs. So, you can just, like I've done here, you can make a beautiful, beautiful necklace. Really, really pretty. Sits so, so nicely on the neckline, on the décolleté. Gorgeous. I think you could probably make a bracelet, but when you're hammering, if you hammer the shapes with an arc, so if you pop it on a bangle mandrel and just put, or indeed probably a bangle mandrel, you could bend them slightly. It would make a really pretty bracelet, I think. Also, really, really nice motif, I think. Okay, so let's just pop that out of the way. So here we have our little guys here. So I'm going to attach some 3mm jump rings. So you're going to need some ear wires as well. I make my own just because it's cheaper. So let's get some of these little 3mm jumps, and you're going to put one in each of the little hoops here, like this. That's one, and then two. I like 3mm. I think they're quite delicate. You could use larger ones if you wanted to. Entirely up to you. Don't forget, these are always just ideas of things that I've been messing about with this week. So feel free to do your own thing, as they say. And then let's put the ear wire on so you can see how they look. So very literally, just pop it on the ear wire. Like this. I'll do this other one, and then we'll think about beads, shall we? Shall we put some beads on these? Maybe a nice little sort of teardrop would be cute. Like a briolette or something like that. I think as I'm going along, I'm going to try and see if I can afford to buy some more semi-precious beads, because I do like the look of them. It's just at the moment, I think they can be quite expensive, can't they? Because I am considering selling my work on a new website that I'm developing. So we'll see. We'll see. I like the fact that you can make beautiful jewellery from really simple and affordable materials, though. So, we'll see. There we are. So there's our cute little Art Nouveau-inspired earrings. Aren't they gorgeous? So, well, I think they're gorgeous anyway. You might disagree with me. But hey-ho. The world would be a boring place if we all liked the same things, I think. But I think they're really pretty. Yeah? So let's have a think. Shall we put something on the bottom? Yeah. I'm gonna just pause you here, and I'm gonna go away and have a look in my stash, and we'll see what we've got. And we're back. So I have raided my stash and I've just come up with four little ideas. These are green agate, faceted green agate. Now then, do they look nice? Yeah, they're quite pretty, aren't they? Faceted agates. Let's have a look. What do you think? Just a little dropper on the bottom. That's quite cute. However, I'm looking towards these peacock pearls actually. Yeah, let's do the peacock pearls. These are like all different shapes. So we need to find a couple that actually match, Sammy, don't we? Let's have a look at those. Do they match about right? Yeah, they're not too bad, are they? Slightly different shape. No. Yeah, I think those will go. Let's do these. I'm going to do a really simple, I'm going to use 22 gauge, I think. Will that fit through? Oh, it will, yeah. Yeah, let's make some of these. 22 gauge pearls with the 22 gauge. So let's chop. That's probably a bit much, but never mind. So let's just make a little, let's make a spiral knot at the bottom, shall we? Where's my, there we are. Right, so I'm going to take the very bottom of that and make a knot head pin. Pop that through there. Oops. Make a knot head pin. Now then, where are my flat nose? My nylon nose, should I say? Where are you? Jaw pliers, there you are. So let's go for this. Make a couple of knots. There we are, that should do nicely. Do the other one. Yeah, I've used way too much wire here. Why do I always do that? It's like when you make pasta. Are you like that? When you make pasta, I always think that you need way more pasta than you actually do. It's a bit of a joke in my house. Through there. And then let's make another knotted head pin. Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, good, they're pretty. So let's pop that through there. Get those out of the way. Gosh, I hear the herring gulls today over my house. What are they after? There we are. Let's pop those in there. What do you think? Yes, I think that would be really pretty. Yeah, so let's just make a simple wire wrap loop. Where are my little pliers? There they are. Wire wrap loop. And then we can attach them. What do you think of this little design, guys? I think it's a really versatile little component, if you want to call it that, because it means you can make all sorts of things out of them. Bracelets, you know, necklaces, that kind of thing. Yeah, sweet. Like a lot. And if you're interested in vintage jewellery, let me know. Do you own any vintage pieces? You inherited anything from your family members? There we are. Just do this other one. Oh yes. I think those pearls, these peacock pearls, potato pearls maybe they're called. I can't remember, but they're sort of, you know, not, they're real, you know, cultured pearls. They're not fake pearls, these ones. So we'll just pop that on there. And then we'll keep that out of the way. Just, whoops, keep that out of the way. Come on, out of the way. And we'll just give that a scrappy twist. Just give it a snip. And then just squeege that bit in there. Right, now then, there we go. So we're cooking with gas. Look at those, aren't they gorgeous? I think they're gorgeous anyway. Look at those, how pretty are those? Anyway, that's this little component that either looks like a beautiful Art Nouveau style thing, or indeed somebody celebrating something. Make of that what you will. Have a super week, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Hope you're all doing okay. Speak soon. Bye.